right, and welcome to Not Suitable for Adults. It's a podcast, and on the podcast, we're going to talk about kid shows and also kids, maybe movies, depending on what Natalie chose to talk about today.
Oh, yeah, you don't know what I'm going to talk about.
And you don't know what I'm going to talk about.
Yes, well, I have an idea.
Right, because you probably saw it in our Netflix history.
Yes, I saw it in the Netflix history, but I have no idea about it. The one I'm going to do is something I realized we haven't done yet, and it surprised me that we haven't.
That's exciting. Well, I'm Rich.
Teasers.
Oh.
I'm Natalie.
All right, I will get us started today. So, the show that I'm reviewing this week is a show called Miraculous. And the full name of the show is actually Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir.
Miraculous, That's what I heard.
The Miraculous, It's Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Ladybug.
And Cat Noir.
Yeah.
Noir.
Meaning
like the old, like black and white. Like film noir.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So this show.
I'm sorry. My spoon against my mug is making very nice clinking noise for all of you. I shall set it down because it is yet too hot. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Ladybug and Cat Noir, Miraculous. So this show is about a girl named Marinette in the city of Paris.
Okay, so noir makes more sense.
Yep. And also about this boy that she has a crush on whose name is Adrian.
Adrian!
Yep, exactly. Except reverse. And so they live in Paris, and by day, they're just normal, everyday students who go to school and have class rivalries. Marinette has this girl who's always picking on her and like trying to one up her.
Classic.
And Marinette has, like I said, a crush on Adrian.
These are all classic school antics that, yes, I also grew up with.
Yeah. We've all been there.
I was homeschooled.
Yeah. So.
But the boys at my school did pick on me a lot.
Your brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the one.
Really the one.
Really?
Yeah.
The other one was too little.
And so by day they're just normal kids. They are also, Marinette is a superhero.
Okay.
Called Ladybug.
Did you see the face I made?
I did.
Okay. I feel like Ladybug isn't a very good superhero name.
You know, I agree with you.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then Adrian is also a superhero, whose name is Cat Noir. Neither of them knows that the other is that superhero.
And they have a crush on each other.
Well, what's interesting is when they're students, we see Marinette having a crush on Adrian. Okay. When they're in superhero form, it seems like Cat Noir has a thing for Ladybug.
Gotcha.
And so
she just wants a regular guy, and he wants somebody adventurous.
Yeah, I guess.
And they're finding that in each other with their different personalities.
Maybe so. So they are superheroes. They don't know that each other are these superheroes. They just know that they know that each other exists, but not that Marinette is Ladybug. The primary source of evil in the city of Paris is a supervillain whose name is Hawkmoth.
Wait, do they each have... Okay, so Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Hawkmoth.
Yeah.
Are they all like that? Do they all have words that don't go together? I mean, I know Ladybug is a thing, but lady and bug don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Cat Noir, I get that. You can put those together. Hawkmoth is just like a big moth.
So here's the thing. I think a hawkmoth is a thing.
Like a real animal.
I think so.
Gonna look it up.
And then a ladybug is an animal.
Yes.
Cat Noir is a play on words, I think. I've heard this phrase before. I can't claim to know what the application of that word is, but it's usually spelled Chatnoir, and it's a French phrase. I don't know what it applies to, but I know that it's something. And he's turned it into, I'm a cat superhero, so my name in Paris is Cat Noir.
So hawk moths are also called sphinx moths.
Ooh.
And they look BA. I hope that doesn't put us on the explicit.
Superhero worthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or super villain worthy, I should say.
I was just, for those of you listening at home, which is all of you, I was showing Rich a picture.
If you're listening, you're listening. All right. So he's Hawkmoth, and he has all these little, he's kind of like who's the bad guy on PJ Masks who has like the moths?
Her name is Luna.
Luna, yeah.
And she does like her little moon moths or something are always around her.
Hawkmoth reminds me so much of that. Because every time we see him, he's standing in this sort of big observatory room, and a big irising window opens up, and he can see the moon shining down on him. And what he does is, he doesn't come out, at least in the first few episodes that I've seen, he doesn't actually come out and do anything. He's just a bad guy. And he's like, he's observing the city. And what he does is, he has these moths that he can magically imbue with this like dark power and send them out into the world. And then like, they basically can turn an everyday person into a supervillain based on a negative emotion or feeling that they recently felt.
So like, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to the dark side.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So like for instance, in one episode, there's this guy who is just good-naturedly sitting in a park, and he's feeding the pigeons, and the park like attendant comes by and says, "Hey, listen, we don't want you to feed the pigeons.
We don't want them here."
Yeah, and the guy's like, "What's Paris without the pigeons? Like that's just part of the thing."
Cleaner.
Yeah. he's like, I'm just trying to feed these birds, and he's like, "Nah, get out of here." And so he gets kicked out, and so Hawkmoth turns him into a supervillain whose thing is like. Whose thing is like he likes pigeons, and he's gonna get rid of all the people.
They call him the pigeon.
I think he called himself the pigeon.
Nice.
And they even like magically get a supervillain suit.
Ooh.
Yeah. So and he looked like a big man pigeon. It's kind of silly. So now I haven't even gotten to maybe the weirdest part of all this, which I've read ahead in the plot on Wikipedia.
I
did some prep.
Research.
I did a little prep. So they have these things called, and this is why it's called this, the Miraculous. And Cat Noir and Ladybug both have one. And they're these little like sprite creatures. And one is like Ladybug themed, and one is like a little like sort of night cat themed.
When you say sprite, do you mean like a little fairy?
Kind of, but they look like little teardrops. But yeah, but they talk to them.
Okay.
So they're sentient creatures.
Okay.
That they carry around with them. And when they need to transform, those things turn into like these tokens that give them whatever their superhero power is.
They turn into okay, so they just carry them around with them. How do they get the teardrop sprite? Ooh, the teardrop sprite.
No, ew, gross.
When I said that, for some reason, it sounded like what somebody would call a cocktail or something. Yeah. Do they have to do something with them? What do they do with them?
No, they're basically just like, let's do it, and then the Miraculous is like, okay.
Okay, great. It's not like they have to like do some secret handshake or something.
No. I mean, there's always the same.
Imagine a secret handshake with a tiny little teardrop
with a little
spray.
teardrop spray. No, there is like the typical. I think we only ever see it for Marinette because she's the protagonist. But every time she transforms, she has that like standard transformation sequence that
Sure.
superheroes frequently do. So it turns out later on, and I won't spoil the series because it's actually kind of interesting. But later on, we discover that there are more Miraculous, and Cat Noir and Ladybug actually have them and can kind of give them out to people on a temporary basis. And turn kind of the same way that Hawkmoth can turn people into supervillains on a temporary basis. They can now create superheroes on a temporary basis.
That is too godlike for 2 kids in school.
I guess maybe.
You know what? You invited me to your birthday party,
and now we're all superheroes.
Sheila didn't, so you get to be the superhero.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Okay, so. It's interesting, this show, and there's a lot of like plot twistiness that happens in later seasons that I won't get into because I would like to watch it and I want to see how it works out. And there.
Great. So what is the rating for this one? Is it a Y7?
I believe it's Y7.
That seems to be kind of your typical genre.
Yeah. It makes sense that it would be Y7 because it's older kids in the show. Mm-hmm. I don't remember seeing the rating if I'm fully truthful. Okay, so it's on Netflix. It was originally released on Nickelodeon, and it was only on Nickelodeon for 1 season, and then Nick was like, "Nah," and they dropped it. I say originally in the U.S. It's originally a French show.
Ah.
So this is, from what I understand, a dub. They've dubbed it into English. But it was originally French. It was the first place it was released was South Korea. But it was from this French studio, and like 1 month later it came out in France, and then it made its way to the US on Nickelodeon.
The names then make a little bit more sense. Right.
And then several years later, if I'm reading this right, it says it was dropped it was released in the fall of 2015. It was dropped after that first season in 2016 by Nickelodeon. And then in 2019, it was picked up. Let me make sure that's right. I think that's right. I can't find it now. I'm pretty sure I read in 2019 it was picked up by Disney.
Oh. So, have you been watching it on Disney? I saw it was on Netflix. Is it on Disney Plus?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And it may eventually make its way over. I think because it's not by Disney proper. It's just that Disney is sort of syndicating it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. And so let me go down. Let's see if it's won any awards, because you like to talk about awards.
Indeed, I do.
Let's see. Yeah, it's won some awards. But but here's the deal. They're almost all in French.
There are a lot of French awards.
Yeah, it's won a lot of like best brand, best national toy in Brazil. Apparently it's a big hit in Brazil. Best theatrical event, Broadway World Spain Awards, best theatrical event. Miraculous the Ladybug Show. Oh, it's up for that award this year. That's a thing. It was turned into a musical. And it's up for Broadway World Spain Awards. That's nuts. Okay, so I actually quite like this show. It is, I think, very well animated. And it's interesting. I mean, it kind of does a lot of teenagery tropes and stuff, but overall, it's kind of fun to watch, because you get a good amount of the high school sort of just not important drama for a little bit, and then the switch flips and all of a sudden the stakes get really high. It is very, very, very reminiscent of PJ Masks. So it's like, it's as if the PJ Masks went to high school. It reminds me so
In
much
France.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the other thing is like without knowing at first that it was originally, and this is probably just one of those like sort of American conceit things where it came on. I was like, oh, I see the Eiffel Tower in the background in the opening. And then they're all at school and you can't tell that it's not easy to tell that it is dubbed into English. And so it looks like they're saying like they've matched to a fair degree of accuracy, like the words to what they're saying. And so it seems like these kids walking around speaking pure American English, like American accent English, and they're all in France. And everyone speaks that, including the park attendant. And like everyone who should be French is speaking English with an American accent. Was at first a little confusing, but then seeing where it was from made more sense of that. So, Miraculous, The Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir.
The title is interesting to me because the main focus of the title is the miraculous, those tiny little guys, and not necessarily the two kids.
Right.
Miraculous :
Okay, that's all I've got.
Okay, cool.
Now you, I believe, have something.
Yeah, I thought for our little mid-ep break, we've done some quizzes, Disney-related, like BuzzFeed type and everything, but not a lot of people know much about me and you as a unit.
Okay.
Not just a podcast unit, but as a
family unit.
Yes. So I just really quickly found a Dr. Phil newlywed quiz.
No.
It's not very many, and I'm
a newlywed quiz.
Yes.
Okay.
We have been married for 10 years.
Only 10 years.
Only 10 years. We have been together for coming up on 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming up on 13 this the end of this year. So, what is your spouse's shoe size? You are a...
Go on.
Hold on. Now I've got to think about it for a second, because I was going to say a 12 wide.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're like a 7.5, 7 to 8, depending on the shoe.
7 to 7.5, depending on the shoe.
Okay.
I got itty bitty little feetsies. How many children did your spouse want when you got married?
3. You wanted 3.
I wanted 3
boys.
Yes.
And then we got the one girl, and we were like, you know what?
We're good. I believe you wanted probably just like 2, like the typical 2.5.
I wanted 2.5.
Yeah. Again, then we got the one girl, and we were both like, yeah, okay, we're good.
It's pretty nice.
In what city was your spouse born?
Arlington, Texas.
That's right. You were born in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm surprised that one was just right up there on the top of your noggin. If your spouse had his or her dream job, what would it be? That one's that's a little more, it depends on the day for me. For you, I feel like you're pretty much doing something you really love, working for barbershop. My dream job would, I think, be to not have to have a job. Can you think of something else?
No.
No? Nothing's coming to you? Okay. What was your spouse's first job?
Was your first job the pharmacy?
It was.
Okay, I thought so.
I worked at a pharmacy. Loved it. It was my first job. I really did love it.
Do you know what my first job was?
Your first job was working... You moved a lot of, like, equipment. I feel like
you got it.
I did.
Yeah.
Like you actually hurt your back.
Yep. I worked at a like equipment rental place where you could rent. It was two
like
things.
Party equipment, right?
You could rent party equipment, and you could purchase like party supplies. But you could also rent just like general heavy equipment. So like if you needed a power washer, you could rent a power washer.
And weren't you actually like 15? You were actually too young to be working.
So you
fudged it.
I didn't fudge it. I was living in New Hampshire, and a friend's dad owned this place, and I was like, hey, I would love this. I would like to have my first job. And he said, yes, we need someone to basically work in like the warehouse and help the guys move stuff around and clean stuff and stuff like that. And so I started working for him when I was like 15 exactly. Mm-hmm. And I worked for him for a few months, and then he came to my mom. He's like, wait a second, how old is Rich? She's like 15 and a half. He'll be 16 in June. And he was like, oh, okay, well, no. And he gave me, it was closer than that. I think maybe I started when I was like 15 and a half, and it went for a couple of months, and I had to basically wait. I had to take 2 months off. And I think, if I remember right, I think he paid me. Nice. I think he actually paid me during that time because...
Well, it's kind of his error, right?
Yeah. So he paid me something during that time for nothing. I think I'm remembering that right. And then I came back when I was 16. And yes, I injured my back at the age of 16 at this job using a post hole digger to clean out to clean out a drain that was full of like very fine dirt.
Ew.
That was like left over from where we had cleaned stuff out. The drain, it went down into this drain, and the drain was full to the top of this very fine, silty dirt. Mm-hmm. And so I was using a post hole digger. And if you've ever used a post hole digger, you have to do a very unnatural sort of clamping together with your arms and keep it together, and then lift it out and move it over.
Super bad for your lower back if you don't have a...
No, you know what? Was it that?
I thought it was when you were moving chairs.
You're right. It was chairs.
Oh, look at me. I know more about you than you know about yourself.
The post hole thing did hurt me. But no, you're right. When I really hurt my back was the chairs. I was lifting a stack of like 15. That's how we stacked them in stacks of 15. Then we wrapped them in this saran wrap kind of stuff. Yeah. And what one of my jobs was if they were sitting out there for a long time, I had to cut them out, get them out of there, take them all out, and spray them down and wash them, and then restack them and rewrap them if they gotten dirty. And
sounds like the worst.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
it's good for like a 15 or 16-year-old kid.
It was perfect. So I put these together, and I got really good at lifting those really tall, pretty heavy stacks of chairs. But I did that, and I turned, and there was some loose wrap on the ground that tangled up my feet, and I almost fully fell over and would have hurt myself very much. Yeah. But I was able to get my foot free just in time.
But it wrenched you.
Yeah, but it wrenched my back. And so to this day, I have a little spot in my back that if I carry too much stuff for too long, it starts twinging.
Yeah, that's his excuse.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So I'm going to ask this question, and nobody try to hack any accounts or anything.
I was just going to say, you asked earlier, like, in what city were you born? I'm like, that's a really common security question.
Right. Well, don't choose it. What's your spouse's mother's maiden name?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, people are going to totally hack us.
Okay, we'll skip it.
No, I mean,
we both know each other's.
We know.
Yeah. Has your spouse ever had a nickname? If so, what is it?
Yes.
Why are you laughing?
Because your nickname was funny.
Okay, go ahead.
Because your family called you Natty Toot.
Yeah. Natty Toot. I will also answer to just straight old Toot. Mm-hmm. Especially from
your grandpa.
Yeah, my papa. He just calls me Toot.
Yep.
Yep. There is a fun story of I introduced myself to someone as Natalie Toot because everybody called me Natty Toot. And then they introduced themselves to my parents and said, "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Toot."
Got 'em.
Yeah. That was my first ever prank.
Because it was totally intentional.
You have had a couple of nicknames. You, as a child, were Richie, and a lot of your family, especially on your mom's side of the family, still call you Richie. You have, in high school, they called you Rishta.
Do you know why?
Rishta. Yes, I do. Right now, I can't think of it. Because right now, I'm thinking of the spelling. It's Richte.
Yeah. It was.
And you even had that on your, like, vanity plate.
Yeah.
For your car.
Yep. In high school for Allstate, we went, a group of us from our chorus we're going to sing at Allstate because we were so good. And one of the songs we were doing is this song in German called Richte mich Gott. And my friends thought it was so funny that my name was in that first word that they started calling me that, and it stuck forever.
You also had several people call you Wookiee.
Yep. A lot of some people in college called me Wookiee because I could do a Chewbacca sound.
Yes. I have, all of my family calls me Natty. And it's weird to me if somebody else that's not of my family calls me Natty. Yeah. It's odd to me. Because a couple of our friends in college called me Natty every now and again. And I was like, no, that sounds crazy to me. And then I can count on one hand the number of people that call me Nat, and it feel like they should.
Right.
Which one of them is my old roommate from college. She calls me Nat. One of them was a lady I worked with at the pharmacy. She calls me Nat. And my aunt Trinda calls me Nat.
There you go.
And I'm trying to think. I feel like there is one more person. But really, it's like I can count on one hand the people that call me Nat and it not feel weird. So there it is. Let's see. What single word would you use to describe... sorry. What single word would your spouse use to describe you?
Oh.
So it's... You don't describe me in one word. It's how would I describe you in one word?
I don't know. One word just isn't enough.
For you?
She's going, I've got one word.
No, you're thinking of what I would
I know.
say. Okay.
I can't think what that would be.
You have no idea what I would say about you?
No, I'm saying that there's a lot of things that you would say about me, which would encompass more than a word.
Okay, well, think of one of the positive ones and say that.
Good.
Oh, my stars. Oh, my goodness. I think you would say something like that I'm just goofy. Or like... do you know what I'm saying? Goof.
Goof.
Goof. Am I wrong?
I don't know. There's a lot. I don't like that kind of question because.
Okay, pass the question.
No. Here's
pass the question.
No, here's the reason why. Is because like there's much more to like. I'm gonna do a Dr. Phil. Boil down your wife into one word. What one word would you use? Phil, I'd use a lot more than one word. Thank you very much. I know how to express myself beyond one word.
The word I would use for you is analytical.
Oh, okay.
She says as she rolls her eyes really big. What is your spouse's blood type? Do you know mine?
I do.
But you don't want to say it?
No, it's just weird that's on the quiz.
I mean, a lot of people don't know their spouses or their kids' blood types. And the only reason I know ours is because
we had to figure it out.
Because we had to figure it out for a medical reason.
Yeah, we both know it.
We both know it?
Yeah.
And last thing, what is your spouse's favorite way to wind down after a stressful day? I feel like we both have the same answer for this.
Drop it on the couch and watch a movie or something.
Couch, TV, drink. Done. There it is. I think we passed.
I think so. We passed the newlywed challenge.
Okay, Ryan's mom. She called Ryan's mom on, Ryan's World always calls everything something challenge.
Yep, we did it.
And now, whenever Cora wants to play any sort of game, she says...
It's a challenge.
She calls it a challenge. Okay. Taking a break.
We're going to go plop down on the couch and watch a movie. We'll be right back from Promoville.
I am Leighton.
And I am Christy.
And this is Cheers to Parenting,
a couple's guide to parenthood. On this bi-monthly podcast, we'll pull a topic from our parenting tip jar and then discuss.
Using parenting skills we've learned over the years of parenting our 3 children.
Which combined gives us 60-plus years experience with the good, bad, and ugly of parenthood.
Perfect kids?
Nope.
Expert parenting?
Absolutely not. But it's worked for us. Give us a listen at anchor.fm/cheers to parenting pod. Advice from birth
until you get them off your payroll.
And we're back.
Howdy.
Howdy do.
I'm going to do a super quick little rundown on a little show we like to call Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol.
Derm, 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 derm.
I don't know any of the words.
This is such a huge show for so many kids, and Cora doesn't care about it.
She likes the toys.
She likes the toys, but she really only has, like, those little mini ones, and that's it, because somebody, probably my mom, bought them for her.
Yeah.
She knows all of their names, and she knows their jobs, what they represent, but she doesn't really watch the show. She'll watch it every now and again. So that's kind of why I think it's taken us this long to hit up Paw Patrol. It's a Canadian animated children's TV series created by Keith Chapman, and it is produced by Spin Master Entertainment.
What?
It premiered on Nickelodeon in the United States on August 12th, 2013, and it is still...
It's taking the world by storm.
It's going. It focuses on a young boy, his name is Ryder, who leads a crew of search and rescue dogs. They call themselves the Paw Patrol. They work to help other people in danger, and protecting their home called Adventure Bay.
Okay, sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons setting.
Yeah. Each dog has a specific set of skills based on emergency services. What?
People only want dogs with really great skills. Rock moving skills, firefighting skills,
bow hunting skills,
lucky
computer hacking skills. They all reside in dog houses that transform into their own customized vehicles.
Awesome.
For their missions, and they all have backpacks on that they call their pup packs, that have the tools they need for each of their particular jobs.
Yep.
Paw Patrol toy sales. Has generated millions of dollars.
Sure.
Millions of dollars. Analysts for the National Bank of Canada reported that toys and games based on the show accounted for approximately $245 million, or 25% of Spin Masters, so their production product sales. Basically, Spin Masters, excuse me, in 2016, Spin Master chairman said that all of the sales for their toys made up 40.5% of the firm's second quarter revenue. So Spin Masters is only around because of Paw Patrol, basically.
This is their bread and butter, their whole thing.
Yeah. The revenue for Spin Masters grew more in that market than in any other toy category. And it has been in the preschool market, than any other toy category. And it's because of Paw Patrol. And there have been a variety of awards and nominations, which I'll get to in a little bit. Because,
Yeah.
I always like to say them really quickly. There's also going to be a theatrical feature film.
Ooh.
Paw Patrol, the movie, is scheduled for August of 2021. So
it might actually be in theaters. Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see what 2021 has to offer.
Fingers crossed, folks.
So the episodes usually follow kind of the same format. Each one opens with a scene of the dogs going about their daily lives, playing with toys, sleeping, doing dog things.
Cleaning themselves.
Gross.
Well.
Ryder, who is said to be 10 years old, is received a call and told about a problem. And, or he sees a problem for himself. He alerts the dogs via their pet tags. Their pet tags start to blink. And they then report to the base, which is called the Lookout. And they arrange themselves in a line. And Chase is one of the dogs, says that the team is ready for action. And then Ryder tells them what their mission is.
Okay. I think the first thing that I always wonder about shows like this. It's just Ryder Ryder's the kid, right? Who interacts with the dogs like before and after they're in, like when they're in normal dog form and when they're in.
Are you
like
asking if someone else sees them talk?
Yeah, I want to know how much of this could be in Ryder's imagination.
Oh, well, they go on these missions, and the people that they rescue, actual people, do talk to the dogs as well.
Okay.
Unless I am completely wrong about that. It's been a minute since I saw a full episode, but... after they have finished, Ryder always says, whenever you're in trouble, just yelp for help.
Okay.
So it started in 2013, and it's still going on. And just a quick breakdown of who each of our lovely little pups are.
Can't wait.
We've got Ryder, who is not a pup. He's a boy, and he's 10. Marshall is a Dalmatian, who is a firefighter and paramedic. Rubble is a bulldog who does construction. Love him. I think he's super cute. Chase is a German shepherd who is the police/spy dog.
Spy?
That's what it says.
Okay.
Rocky is a gray and white mongrel who is handyman/recycling. Zuma is a chocolate Labrador retriever who is aquatic. So, aquatic rescue.
Okay.
So he jumps up right up on those ski-doos.
Uh-huh.
And then we've got Sky, who is a cockapoo, who is an aviator.
Okay.
And Sky, out of those original characters, is the only girl.
Okay.
And we're going to get to... We'll talk about that again in a little bit. Later in these seasons... a few more characters come into play. Everest, a Siberian Husky, who is a snow rescue dog. And so she is introduced as someone that is mainly in the snow type environments. Tracker is a brown and white Chihuahua who is a jungle rescue pup. And... Tuck and Ella are two golden retrievers who are siblings. They call themselves the Mighty Twins. And Rex is a Bernese mountain dog who is an expert in dinosaurs. He is also the first handicapped pup in the show. There are a lot more characters, reoccurring characters, but these become along with the original grouping.
What was the specialty of the Mighty Twins? Are they just like superheroes?
Well, you know what? It does not say. I'll have to look at that.
It's probably not important.
It just says Mighty Twins.
I'm going to imagine them as a superhero duo. I'm just going to imagine that they're superheroes.
Yeah, it didn't say an actual specialty for them. So I'm not 100% sure.
That's fine.
This series has been sold to TV networks in over 160 countries.
Sure.
So it is dubbed and into so many different languages. It has received largely positive reviews. Common Sense Media gave the show a 4-star rating, saying that the best attribute is how it demonstrates the value of thoughtful problem solving.
We had to take a quick parenting break, and while we did that, Natalie found out more about the Mighty Twins.
Yes, so the male Mighty Twin, which I lost their name, but
it's fine.
The boy one has the power to shrink down to the size of a bug.
Okay.
And the girl has the power to grow into a giant.
Okay, so they're like superheroes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I was talking about the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
It said another critic said that it's packed with all the harmless action and cornball jokes that kids can't help but snicker at. A research study commissioned by Sky in March, a different Sky, not the dog. In March 2016, reported that 16% of surveyed British and Irish children named Paw Patrol as their favorite program.
Okay.
So it's all over. Everybody loves Paw Patrol. Criticism has been directed towards the show's unequal gender representation.
Sure.
Because initially, that main core group, there was one female dog, and the rest were all male, including the Ryder, who is the male, human. And then that's why they ended up going on and adding Everest, who is the Siberian Husky, the snow dog. And she actually started in season 2. Mm-hmm. So she's been around for quite a while. But at the beginning in season 1, there was a lot of, why aren't there more girls in this? They can save other things too. So let's see. One other controversy that I just don't really want to go in because that's not our show is, Chase the police dog. People are kind of like these days people are kind of like, the police, but some people just want to not have him around as much anymore, and he's been kind of criticized. But again, that's just the world we live in today. Yeah. There have been a couple of Paw Patrol lives on stage.
With trained dogs.
It's actually people in costume.
Oh, come on.
And like many other children's properties, unauthorized production and events using like costumes and people showing up in those costumes have attracted attention. In February 2016, some pubs in the UK scheduled breakfast events with costumed characters modeled after the pups. Nickelodeon forced the chain to stop every event by threatening a lawsuit. And there was some consumer backlash, but the events were not held.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's copyright infringement is what it is.
Right. It's one thing to like walk around in a costume. So like I think about, for instance, like the performers in Times Square who put on like character costumes,
Yeah.
and they're there to like to get money, but they're there to get money for themselves. They're
Yes.
street performers.
Right.
This is a brand going, we're going to do a regular event with this copyrighted property.
Yeah, they were, I mean, I believe if I'm reading this right, it was a pub that was like, come have breakfast with the Paw Patrol.
Right.
And, you know, people were going to pay money to come have breakfast with Paw Patrol, and Nickelodeon was like, no thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Those aren't our Paw Patrol.
Yeah, those are our pups.
Yeah. So yeah, Paw Patrol, that's Paw Patrol. I think it's really cute.
Yeah.
I kind of wished Cora had gotten a little more into it, but she just wasn't, because it does exhibit a lot of problem solving and helping people, and it also talks about what each of these different emergency services does for their community.
Yeah.
So, and I like that. Like Cora, just because she knows of it, will play, you know, ambulance driver or firefighter or
Right.
stuff like that. And she kind of knows, even though she hasn't seen like a lot of these episodes, she knows what that entails. So I like that about it. And so Paw Patrol, I recommend.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's been around for 7 years.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things have been around for a lot of years that I wouldn't necessarily recommend.
Oh, well, that's fair.
For you, for somebody that is me, I recommend it.
If you are Natalie,
If you are me,
you will like Paw Patrol.
it's cute.
Well, this has been yet another episode of Not Suitable for Adults, and we thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our show. We're on pretty much every big podcast distributor at this point. And we also love it if you have the ability to rate, review, subscribe. I already said subscribe, but rate and review. If you don't have the ability to do that through your podcast app, head over to podchaser.com. And you can leave a rating there, and we love to see those reviews come in as well. If you have feedback for us, or if you have a show that you want us to watch, you can tweet us at NotForAdultsCast, or you can email us, notforadultscast@gmail.com. And once again, we'd love to hear from that, because we have a list of shows that when we are stuck and we don't know which show to look at next, that we go to get ideas.
That's correct.
You are correct.
What was that?
I don't know. What was it? I was
know.
doing a thing. Oh, it was the Star Wars. It was the
Oh, great.
in the early 2000s. There was this Star Wars.
Nerd.
There's this Star Wars gangster rap cartoon that went around. And when the dark side stuff came up, when Darth Vader and the Emperor had their section, he goes, "It's not the east or the west side. No, it's not." And that's Darth Vader the second time. "It's not the north or the south side. No, it's not. It's the dark side. You are correct." And that's how their part of the gangster rap starts. She's so proud of me. You can't see her face, but she's beaming with pride.
Yeah, okay. Well, we love you all,
Yes.
and hope you're staying safe. Hope you're...
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Don't be dummies.
Yeah, please do the things you're supposed to be doing right now. If you go out, wear a mask and stay far away from people.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's not easy, but...
It's not easy. If you're going to a grocery store where you're going to be around people, wear a mask. It's the least you could do.
But listen, when you're inside your house, guess what? You're still the boss.
So watch and wear whatever you want.
Okay, bye.
Bye.